wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We give praises and thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We send salutations and blessings upon the noble messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, on his noble household, illustrious companions, and on all those who follow the path of righteousness until the last day. I'm in the person of Idris Muhammad Madubu, and I'll be the moderator for today's event, inshallah. Today's event is a life-changing one. We believe strongly in the power of entrepreneurship, as you can see on our banner. We believe that entrepreneurship is one of the surest ways through which the development deficiencies we face as a country will be complemented. So, my brother, in the person of Abdul Muhammad Harun, I will introduce him formally. Together with some of our colleagues, we envisioned this program to be one of series of programs that we will be organizing to empower ourselves and our dear brothers and sisters within the Muslim communities. That is what informed this whole idea. So we brought together some very experienced entrepreneurs and industrial titans, of course, and people who are inspiration to us within the Muslim communities. Our reason for choosing these people is, number one, because of their expertise. So it is very reliable to have an expert right in front of you. Having an expert right in front of you gives you the opportunity to tap into their ocean of knowledge. Another reason why we choose them, particularly given the kind of religious background they are having, and also the gender balance we are having, is so that we will inspire our Muslim brothers and sisters to understand that the outside there, that is the industry, really have a place for Muslims. These are Muslims who have been able to ascend the academic ladder. They have been able to ascend the industrial ladder, and they are making great difference that today they have assumed international heights. Another reason is for our Muslim sisters who, for one reason or the other, think certain spaces are limited to the men only, or certain places are limited to a certain group of people only. We brought these very experienced sisters here to share insights with you so that you and I will come to the conclusion that indeed the world has a better place for all of those who work hard for it. So, as we have on our program lineup, we wouldn't waste time at all. We have certain people on the high table. I will introduce them briefly, but before we start any other thing, I would like to take the opening prayer. We would want one volunteer, perhaps those in front there, to give us a very brief opening prayer. Who is volunteer? If you don't volunteer, I will choose. All right, my sister looking at me. Please help us with the opening prayer. Don't you think she deserves a round of applause? Thank you very much. And then guys, do not hold me to account for my gender bias. I believe there will be balance over here. The next item on the list is to introduce our chairman, and then his acceptance, and afterwards we will look at the personnel or the dignitaries we are having on the high table. Inshallah, 2 other dignitaries will join us soon. We are in touch with them, and they will be with us very shortly. Our chairman is in the person of Al-Haji Baba Sule. Al-Haji Baba Sule has a very beautiful history. We all have heard of the Islamic University College of Ghana. The Islamic University College of Ghana. Some people started the Islamic University College of Ghana before it became what it had become today. Al-Hajj Baba Sule belonged to the first batch of business administration students in the Islamic University College of Ghana. Thereafter, he pursued a Bachelor of Business Administration, BBA, in accounting. He also bagged an MPhil in Global Leadership from the University of Professional Studies. He also currently has an LLB from the same University of Professional Studies. For those of you who are hearing the word LLB for the first time, he's talking about legal studies. In effect, Alhaji Baba Sule is a legal practitioner. He is a lawyer. He has a legal background. He is currently pursuing a PhD ongoing at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. This is a very brief about his academic background. And some of the works he is currently engaged in include, number 1, he is the founder and CEO of Suleiman Fruit Juice. The founder and CEO of Suleiman Fruit Juice. We have all taken fruit juice in one time or the other. And we have seen how nice it is to have. So he owns a fruit juice company. He is also the founder and CEO of Yukon Trust Company Limited. Yukon Trust Company Limited. He is also a former lecturer at the Islamic University College of Ghana. He also was the former head of Human Resource Department at the same institution. With a very big round of applause, let us give it to our speaker. So audience, this is your chairman, Mr. Chairman, this is your audience. We will take a word or two from faith.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. The name is Idris Mohammed Madugu, right? Before my acceptance speech, I just want to correct one thing. Yes, I have done LLB, that is Bachelor of Course at the University of Professional Studies. But I'm yet to go to Makola and do the BL. It is only when you finish the BL and you are called to the bar that you can be called a practitioner like that. So currently, yes, I have a legal background, but I'm not yet a full lawyer. Okay. That being said, I see this as a great opportunity and a big privilege that you have confidence in me and have asked me to chair this all-important program. Yes, entrepreneurship is actually one way of resolving, especially our poverty problems in Africa and of course the world at large. So I am delighted to be part of this program because in the end I believe that I will also learn something from this program and I look forward to that. To be the chairman of a program is usually a very big task, and I believe that I will have the support of everyone in this room so that in the end we can all be happy with the way the program will go out to end. So that by leaving this room after this program, everybody will not have any regret for coming here and spending your time and listening to the speakers. So I entreat everyone to get your notebooks ready so that you can take some notes. Myself, my notebook is here with me. I'll also be taking some notes so that we can tap from the experiences of these people who have been able to do something for themselves, their communities, and the country at large. So I hereby accept the offer, and I hope that at the end of the day we'll have a successful program. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman, for that brief, efficient one. All right, without ado, I would like to call on the Executive Director of the Life Empowerment Foundation, as we can see above, to give us a welcome address. And with the introduction of the dignitaries on the high table, I will do it immediately before they start their various speeches, inshallah. So let us welcome him with a very big round of applause.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Mr. Chairman, all protocols duly acknowledged. I am the person of Abdul Muhammad Hanun, the Executive Director of the Life Empowerment Foundation. The Life Empowerment Foundation is a non-profit organization established to provide support to the less privileged students in both secular and Islamic education. Due to the high rates of unemployment and poverty in Africa and Ghana particularly, the organization seeks to give the maximum support to the less privileged and to improve their standards of living. Our programs are Islam-inspired, but generally beneficial to all, regardless of your faith, nationality, ethnicity, or color. The foundation envisages today's Maiden Entrepreneurship Workshop as a gateway to series of empowerment programs that will help eradicate poverty and downtroddeness among the Muslim communities in Ghana and Africa at large. That is why we bring together entrepreneurship experts, corporate leaders, among other thinkers, to impart their tried and tested entrepreneurial knowledge, skills, experience, and participants with hope of developing their passion and skills towards becoming not just employees, but employees. The high table, as you can see, is decorated by top-notch personalities with different expertise, willing to share with us. We can't thank them enough, but surely they will forever remain in our hearts. With this, I welcome you to our safe haven. May the Almighty Allah, in His infinite mercy and benevolence, crown all your development and endeavors with grace and honor. And as I said, this is a program for youth employment and empowerment as well. So anyone who wants any further inquiries or how to join what we are doing, inshallah, the person can go on our website and and then inshallah make an application. Those who child to get back to them inshallah. As of the night of you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is the Executive Director of the Life Empowerment Foundation. A very young guy. He used to be my vice when I was president of GIPSA in this beautiful institution. Today, alhamdulillah, I'm awaiting my graduation. But currently, he resides in the United Kingdom, where he is pursuing certain academic and professional programs. All right. The first topic we are going to digest today is entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial opportunities in Ghana. Most of the time, we hear people say that I want to run outside Ghana to see greener pastures. And the main reason behind this influence is because we have lost hope in our very own. After all, our country is ridden with the politics of incompetence, the politics of downtroddenness, where leaders are more concerned about themselves and their immediate family and friends. For that matter, we feel that the country has nothing to offer us. But it is in this same country that people from humble background put certain things together, and they have gradually emerged global titans, and they are today inspiration. So if all these things are happening simultaneously in our country, then it means there is a certain link we have missed. The fact is that Ghana has more to offer, not just only to Ghanaians, but to the world at large. But how do we ascertain that and then tap into these opportunities? We need to be trained by certain experts who have gone through the mill to tell us the potentials we have in our country as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. So today, we have a very important guest who is going to take us through this, inshallah. A very brief about her. She is in the person of Miss Kausar Abdullah. Let us give it out to her. Miss Kausar Abdullah is a wife. She is a mother, and she is a multifarious entrepreneur. She is a product of the Alpha Beta Christian College, where she graduated in 2011. She also bagged a diploma in accounting and business management at the Meridian Free University in 2012. She moved on to the Regent University College of Science and Technology, where she bagged another certificate in banking and finance in 2016, a bachelor degree for that matter. She also was part of the China-Europe International Business School, where she bagged another one in Weather Women Entrepreneurs in 2020. Currently, she is the founder and managing director of Hajia Posh Global Multi-Concept. Hajia Posh Global Multi-Concept. She is also the founder and self-employed within that same industry. She had over 6 years experience in that industry. And if you look at the banner, you see her up there wearing a very beautiful smile. She is a CEO and author of How I Made My 100,000 Ghana cedis in 3 weeks during COVID-19 lockdown. Just in 3 weeks. Don't you think we should give it up to her? That is Miss Kausar Abdullah, and she will take us through entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship opportunities in Ghana. With a very big round of applause and a standing ovation, let us welcome her to the stage. Let us go on feet. Let's be clapping out as he comes. All right, we can have us.
Okay, my name is Kausar Abdullahi, just like the moderator introduced. I'm a mother, a wife, a multi-parent entrepreneur, and a women empowerment advocate. I must say I'm very delighted to be here to speak with young women and men from my co-religion, and it's so inspiring to see all of you here to share with you my knowledge on entrepreneurship. Because if I wish when I was like you, I had the opportunity to be advised on, especially the topic of entrepreneurship, because these days that is what is happening. We all have to try some way or the other to build our own businesses. It's better for you to be your own boss than to be employed by people. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's basically you as an individual trying to solve a problem, be it a societal or community problem. In return, you're looking at also making a profit. So the person who embarks on an entrepreneurship journey is called an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be someone who is very innovative, because that differentiates a businesswoman and a businessman from an entrepreneur. Businesswomen do just buying and selling, but as an entrepreneur, you bring other spices to the business. So when someone looks at your business, they marvel at it because you've added other nice things, other attractive packages to your business. So you have to make sure you are someone who is very innovative, you are someone who is ready to take risk, because entrepreneurship is all about taking risk. Because the business you are about to start up, you're not sure whether is it going to work out or it's not going to work out. But you taking that risk and challenging yourself that, no, I'm going to make it through no matter what. That is how entrepreneurs are doing. And one thing you should also bear in mind is you have to have that self-confidence. You have to believe in yourself. You have to always affirm to yourself that what's may, this business idea you're having in your mind, this strategy you want to bring on board will work. And you also have to put in mind that it does not just happen overnight. It takes time. So as an entrepreneur, you have to have a lot of patience. Because without patience, you don't expect to start growing a plant and overnight you see it grow. Have anyone seen anything like that? You start planting a seed, and by the next day you see the seed come out and it's bearing fruit already. Is that possible? Exactly. So that is how the entrepreneurship works. It entails so much patience and also confidence. You have to be someone who does not give up. You have to be courageous, because starting up a business is not easy. But with the right mindset, you can get and break through with it. And as an entrepreneur, you should also have in mind that you are also going to be looked at as a leader, because you have to ascertain that leadership skills, because people will look up to you. Oh, okay, so you brought up a business and people want to learn. So it makes you a leader automatically. So as an entrepreneur, make sure that you have that leadership skills that's going to help you through your entrepreneurial journey. As an entrepreneur, you also have to make sure that you are learning a lot. You have to read so much so that you become an expert or a pro in your field. For instance, for me, I'm in a skincare business, and before I got into skincare, it's actually a family business, so I got initiated into the business. I studied banking and finance. I'm thinking I was going to work at a bank, but lo and behold, my parents ran a skincare company. They initiated me into it. So I had to do a lot of studying and learning because I did not know anything about entrepreneurship. I had no knowledge about it. But as I kept on learning, and also I used that business idea from my parents to also help my entrepreneurial skills. So as you're here, maybe you have an idea, you want to start up a business, you're thinking of something very innovative. Trust me, maybe after school you realize that you start that idea and it will become something great. Because every business you see around, they started small. There's no business that just started and overnight it became a multi-billion company. It's gradually. You have to start from somewhere. Alright, so I want to also talk about the entrepreneurship opportunities in Ghana. You realize that there's so many opportunities around. Most of us do not pay attention to them. But in Ghana, for instance, you realize that the Uber is now making waves. People would want to be home, order for a car for them to come and pick them up, or maybe you are stranded somewhere. You can just even have an innovative mind on how to start a taxi business. It does not necessarily mean that you are going to chauffeur the car. You can provide these services for young people like you to start a business from it. So it does not matter if you are producing that services, or maybe you are not going to be part, you are not going to be the one running the steering, but you are behind it. So that's one thing you also have to keep in mind. And these days you realize that there are a lot of people who would want their weddings and occasions to be captured. So as a new entrepreneur, you can also look at photography, where you get people to get a contract for you to come and take pictures of their occasion, be it a wedding or an engagement, whatsoever. You just have to have the idea of how does photography work. You can even learn it online. You don't need to go to school to learn how to use a camera to take pictures. These days, everything you want to learn can be learned online. Just go on Google, put down all you need to know, and the answers will be there. So it's even cost, it cuts the cost. Instead of you going to a professional photography school, you could just go online and just read, how can I take professional pictures? And one thing you should bear in mind is how many of you are online? How many of you have your presence, or you have a social media page, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, none of you. Wow. Alright, so I see some few hands. Great. So maybe after the section, you guys should go out there and read about how you can be on social media. I know you're students, but hey, I was a student as well when I started using Facebook. Because you see then, when you finish school, you have a platform where you engage your friends. You have a platform where you know that, oh, I have a friend who might be interested in what I'm selling. You reach out to your friends through social media. So the social media presence is very, very vital in this 2021. So when we went on lockdown last year, I'm sure most of you suffered the pain, because most of you lost contact with your friends, some couldn't go out and all that. How many of you were affected during lockdown? None. Hey, can you talk? Alright, some people were affected. So when you're on social media, it helps boost your business. It helps increase your customer base, because now everybody wants to learn on social media. Wants to do business, on social media. People want to be home, order food, order bags, order clothes, anything on social media, even without having to step out of their house. So then it means that there is an opportunity for us to put our businesses out there online. So as a new entrepreneur, you can use that aspect of the online market to market your products and services. And we go on to the opportunities. It could be a catering services. Maybe you're here, you're very good at cooking. you cook so well that when people taste your food, they just can't get their minds off. So you can use this as a business. Okay, I can see that lady smiling. Okay, and you cook very well. So you can use that as a business. You can start cooking, even for your friends or your neighborhood, and tell them that, oh, you can make a package for this amount. Then you just start a business out of it. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to own a big shop or a big restaurant. No. Even in your small kitchen, you can start your catering business there. So you can also put that down. You think about it. If you are there, you can do some pastries and all that. You can even get people who you, let's say for instance, bake for them to go out there and sell. That's a business. You see people selling meat pie on the roadside. The entrepreneur is home, baking for them. And it creates employment. It creates job opportunities for people. Because not everyone has the opportunity to be in school. So you realize that you are in school, you are very fortunate. You can even innovate than the people that are out there. So you can add the catering services to your business. And I know some of you girls here would love makeup. So maybe after school, the makeup industry is also growing vastly because most people would want to always go out having their face made up and all that. So you can also venture into makeup. You either go and learn how to make up, or you can learn it online, which is free. Because when you're home, at your free time, you get clients who come to you for you to make them up. That's a business opportunity. And as an entrepreneur, when your business is online, it's easy for them to reach you. Yeah. So we'll look at the last one, which is event planning. Mostly some people who have occasions struggle with how to go about things because they don't know, how do I get the chairs for my occasion? How do I get the DJ? How do I get the photographer? You can serve as an event planner for people. What do I mean by an event planner? Someone who can tell you that, okay, so if it's a wedding, we need this. And you also outline the cost that's involved. So it cuts down the cost for the person who is confused and don't know what to do. You would handle all the aspects. And you get to be paid a very good amount of money for that. So event planning is also a very good business to look at because these days, every Sunday, we are doing our way. Every Sunday, if not because of the corona, this coming Sunday, there would have been people who are waiting to do our way or sooner or the rest. So you can look at event planning. So then this brings me to the fact that during lockdown, I wrote my very first book, which is How I Made My 100,000 Ghana Cedis in 3 weeks during COVID-19 lockdown. Okay, there's been some arguments and all that, which I would not go there. If you know what you did, you don't need to challenge it. You don't need to challenge or talk much about it. But all I need you to know is I'm a Zongo girl. I grew up from Zongo. I grew up in Shikura. And I'm a proud Zongo girl. And my motive, my motive is to also help a lot of people like me to also elevate. You know, we need to bring that hijab spirit out there. We need to have a lot of us in the high institutions. So I'm just urging you all that you don't have to give up. You don't have to give up. Just for the sake of the love you have for Islam and women. You don't have to give up. Whatever you set your mind to, that you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, whatever it is, you can attain it. So far as you have the right mindset and you're willing to work to achieve it. Without you working to achieve it, you cannot make it. So this draws me back to the book. So the book also inspired me to help young women to start up their online businesses. So I have about 200 women that I groom on how to start a side hustle business on social media, which I have, you know, it's amazing when people call you and tell you that, oh, I don't have a job, but I need to do something. I know how to use social media. So please enroll me, let me start something. And you realize that this person gets the opportunity and makes the most out of it. So this is just to all of you to know that if I could do it, you can as well do it. There are going to be challenges and hindrances, but without the challenge, you cannot win. The challenges are there to just help you know that there is something you need to find. There is something bigger than what we are seeing. So please, I'm just so proud to be here to talk to you people, and I just hope that some of you would learn so that one day, at least, I'll meet some of you people out there. We'll also be proud that we are from Zongo and we are helping the Zongo communities. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Oh, we can do better. Let us do it now. Thank you so very much, Ms. Oscar Abdullah. As our norm has it, we would always want to be interactive. We would always want to have a very interactive session. So whilst the presenters are presenting, we are receiving some questions in our mail because, of course, we have our media partners here. We have the SASA online TV with us over here. We are receiving some questions. I would urge each of you to also be noting down the questions you are having for the speakers so that we would make some time to do that. As far as I know, Ms. Kausar Abdullah might leave us in a very short while. For that matter, I would like to present the few questions we have received to her so that afterwards we'll take a couple of questions from you whilst we proceed with our event. Some important stuff she said, which we should always have at the back of our minds, is that we should read more books. To be an entrepreneur, you have to commit yourself to reading. You have to give yourself to studies. You have to be a very voracious reader, because that is the only way you are able to tap into the knowledge of the people who are buried in the graves. So reading is a very important thing. We cannot overemphasize it. She also spoke on the power of social media. How social media can help you establish your online presence. How social media can help you to market your product and also ideas. Today, what do we see on social media? We see people just abuse the social media, forgetting that this social media is part of the jurisprudence of our time. Today, if you are going to look for a job out there, one of the things they will ask you is to provide your social media handle. You think it's for fun? No. They want to see what is your online presence. Are you a thinker? Or you are just someone who is just there, as my uncle will say. Are you just there? Or you are indeed there? We have a lot of people who choose social media and, of course, online outlets. They've been able to make great differences in their lives. Today, through blogging, Umar Sanda of City TV, City FM, is able to land himself a life-changing job. Through this blogging, what are we doing? If we are having this advice at this very early stage of our professional development, I think it is truly timely. We need to make very good use of it. She also spoke on the online learning channels like the YouTube. Today, everything you want to learn, just go to YouTube. Everything is at your fingertips. Even if you want to learn how to manufacture foam, you can get it on YouTube. Amazingly. Everything is out there. But what do we do with YouTube? You see us on YouTube and you just be doing streamline of stuff that has nothing to do with us as far as our religion and our professional development is concerned. This is truly disturbing. So, with that, I believe it will be enough once we take more from you. The first question I would like to ask our noble sister, Ms. Kausar, is that what are some books you will recommend for us? And if you don't mind, I will read all 4 questions and you take all of them at once. Alright, what are some books she would recommend as far as entrepreneurship is concerned? And then secondly, do you have any mentorship programs where you train the capacities of people, particularly our Muslim sisters? And also, someone wants to know if there is any business one can start with as little as 200 Ghana cedis and then grow into a conglomerate. Someone wants to know that. And the last person also wants to know your story, how you made this gargantuan amount of money. This is truly amazing, how you have been able to make it. Yeah. So with that, I believe.
Thank you very much for your questions. First of all, for the books you need to read, there's quite a number. Myself, I also sell books as well, so I'll leave my number with you guys so that when you need any book concerning entrepreneurship, you can just hit me up. First of all, I recommend my book because the book is talking about entrepreneurship and how I started my journey, which aided me to make that amount of money during the COVID-19 lockdown. And all this became possible through social media. Without social media, I would have not been able to achieve this amount of money. Because during lockdown, you all are aware that the president gave us, there was a total lockdown, there was a curfew, you're not supposed to go out and all that. So before the lockdown, I strategized on how I was going to make the very big money I've always wanted for my business. So one thing you should also bear in mind is that you always have to affirm positive things to yourself. Tell yourself that I'm going to do this and work hard to do that. But don't just affirm to yourself that I want to be a billionaire. But meanwhile, you're sleeping, waiting for God to pour the money on you. It won't work. So I affirmed to myself that no, this pandemic is going to be my breakthrough to make my very big money. And I outlined steps on how I was going to achieve that. So I'm into skincare and bedding sets. So before we went on the lockdown, I made sure I had enough product to sell to people because the market was closed. It was just left with the malls. So imagine if you live at Lima and there's no mall. You have to go all the way to maybe Accra Mall. It's not possible. The police would even stop you because they were all at vantage points. So what I did was, I made sure that any product someone wants, I will deliver to you at your doorstep. So I made that announcement on my social media page and the response was great because people did not even have the idea that, oh, they could also do what I was doing. So it was more or less like I was the only one doing what I was doing, buying food and taking to people. So it was like a logistic company, delivering to people, selling my own products as well. All this aided me and I made that amount of money I made. To the first question, so one of the books, another book you could read is by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book actually tells you how the rich would always be rich and the poor would always be poor. And I think it's a very, very good book to read. When you read that book, trust me, it will change your mindset. You would realize that even if you are in poverty, you change your mind to working towards it to elevate that poverty. So I'll leave my number before I go so that you can ask me any question you want to ask me. Please, have I answered all the questions? Moderator? Yeah. What other question did you ask? Great. Yeah, so someone asked that, can you start a business with 200 Ghana cedi? Yes, you can. You can even start a business with zero money. So I have the group I'm talking about is called the Haja Posh Dropshippers. So what my dropshippers do is, they start their own business online without any penny. All you have to do is get into the group. I'll feed you with products, be it skincare, clothes, fashion, whatever it is. All you have to do is keep posting it on your social media. Anytime you get a client, you forward your order to me. I will serve as the logistic company to do your delivery for you. So when your client makes a payment, I send you your profit. As easy as that. But it needs a lot of commitment and consistency. So that is how you can either start. You can also use that 200 cedis to buy some few skincare products. Go around your family members, your friends, tell them that, oh, this is the business you started. So that at least they know that, okay, So you started a business, and people would also want to buy from you so that they help your business grow. So believe it, you can start a business with or without money in this era if you are very conversant with social media. And with the mentorship class, yes, I do offer mentorship programs. We have one coming up soon, so I'll leave my number, as I said, so that you guys will always communicate with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. So if I can have some questions from the audience. All right, we have one from behind. I believe you can master your voice. Yeah. All right. He said he's a man, so he can master his voice.
Thank you very much for the good business idea, your inspiring stories. I want to ask you, should everyone become an entrepreneur? And if yes, if no, who should become an entrepreneur?
Thank you very much. That's a great question. Yeah. We can all become entrepreneurs regardless of if you even have a professional job you're doing. So there's something called a side hustle. So a side hustle means that you have, for instance, you're a doctor, but you have a corner store, you have someone operating for you. So aside the salary you're making from your doctorship, you still also earn another money from another business you're doing. So entrepreneurship is not limited to whether you are a nurse or not. Everyone can be an entrepreneur. Even if you're a nurse, you can still be an entrepreneur. So I hope I've answered your question. Thank you.
Any other question? Just put down your hand. Okay, gentlemen. Your feet. And mature your voice.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. So I'd like to know, would you advise a partnership as a startup for a business? And also want to know at what point would you like to communicate with people so that they invest in your ideas? Because I believe it's not all businesses that you can start with zero money. There are some which are very demanding. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thank you very much for your question. Indeed, there are other businesses that would not allow you to start a business with zero amount. But as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you are starting small. Because there are some deals that are over 50,000 cedis, and hey, you don't have that money to start that kind of a business. So what do you do then? You would wait. Would you wait till you make that big money before you start your business? Or you would want to start small to aid you start up that big project you're looking at? So my advice is that for the partnership, it depends on the kind of business you want to do. If you think you need more people on board to help the business thrive, that's fair. But if you know that, okay, so the business you want to set up it entails a lot of money, I would advise you start small. There are a lot of entrepreneurial businesses, business opportunities out there. You can stumble on, use that profit you're making to build up a bigger picture you're looking at starting. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much, Ms. Sultan Abdullah. I believe there are more questions in our minds, but we would do honor to our time. Inshallah, since she would leave her contact behind, whatever questions there are, I believe you can have even a direct answers to them. All right, it wouldn't be very befitting to not mention some of our cherished supporters and our inspirational brothers who have joined us in here. We have in our midst Mr. Aburov M. Kishki, the African Youth Commandant. Mr. Aburov Mohammed Kishki is the CEO and also the Director of Final Point Foundation. He's an entrepreneur and also a motivational speaker. I believe 3 years ago, if not 2, forgot exactly, I was listening to one of his speeches at Zenith University College, and trust me, I nearly removed my head and put it on the floor. because the inspiration was just so electrifying that immediately you get out of the hall after listening to him, you feel like taking immediate action. He's the author of the 10 Commandments to becoming a successful student. And with time, we'll bring him here to our institution. We'll organize you once again so that we listen to him, inshallah. We also have in our midst our very elder brother, Brother Mahfouz Haruna. We want to see Brother Mahfouz Haruna. Alright. Brother Mahfouz is the CEO of Galaxy Homes and Construction Limited. I visited him years back, and he told me he is not one of those people who will carry his CV, going from one shop to one company to the other looking for a job. He believes you can create something for yourself. And today, he is not an employee, but an employer. Let's give it up to him. We also have in our midst our cherished brother, Brother Okasha Harun. He is busy taking pictures. He is the CEO and founder of Autism Foundation, and currently he runs a travel and tours agency. A lot of people are asking me, Miss Kausar Abdullah, a very inspirational woman. This morning, a lot of people are sending me emails from the University of Professional Studies and of course UG, that they would want to attend the program because of this great woman. But that is not the shock. The shock is that someone asked me, who is this woman's husband? Because if this woman could be so inspiring and such a great achiever, who is the man behind? Don't you want to know who the man is? We want to know, right? Yes. Alright, you will see him today. He is in the person of Mr. Sharif Abdul Razak. Let us meet him. So that's the great gentleman behind all this success. They said, behind every successful man, there is a woman. I also said, in front of every successful woman, there is a man. So the men, you have to be really empowering your wives. Gone are the days when we feel our wives will just stay at home. They have potentials. We have to help them develop those potentials. Alright, we'll zoom in quickly because time is really not on our side. We started a bit late. The second topic we'll be looking at is the key steps to starting your own business. Attention please. Key steps. We need to know the steps to starting your own business. If you want to start a venture, what are the step-by-step procedures you should follow? And the one to deliver on that is my own mentor, my own lecturer at final year in Madina Institute of Science and Technology, Miss Aidatu Abubakari. Miss Aidatu Abubakari is a product of the University of Cape Coast. Currently, she is having her MPhil in marketing at the University of Ghana. She manages shops. She didn't just say because I'm a lecturer, that is all. But she set up and currently manages a shop known as Akwe Allah. And it is running for the past 5 years. Sustainable. She is a teaching assistant at the University of Ghana between the years of 2016 and 2017. That is approximately 1 year and 2 months. She is also a business development executive at MD Consults since 2016 and then 2017. 3 years in that particular field. And currently she is an adjunct lecturer at this beautiful university, Madina Institute of Science and Technology. Miss Aida will be presenting on key steps to starting your own business. With a very big round of applause and a standing ovation, let us welcome her to the stage. Let us be clapping until she grabs the mic.
And one good thing about entrepreneurship is that there are no hard and fast rules. You work with what works best for you is what you do. So there are no hard and fast rules, like maybe in sciences where you have to mix certain proportions of certain chemicals before you get an outcome. When it comes to entrepreneurship, you decide what you do best. You test it in the market. If it works well, then you are okay. If it doesn't, then you change and then look at other things you can do to be successful. So this afternoon, I will talk to you about 10 steps you can follow to be successful as an entrepreneur. And a bit of correction. I used to run a business as a partnership with someone, but my career plans changed along the line. So I left the business to my partner, and then now I'm focusing on becoming an academic. So my full attention is in academia. Due to the pressure from the two things I was doing, I had to take the top decision, and then I left one and then focused on the other. Yeah. All right, so the first thing you need to know as an entrepreneur, what you need to be successful is your commitment. You should be committed first. Initially, you start with a passion, and the passion will be very strong. But as you start and the challenges keep coming, you realize that this passion has started waning. And that's where commitment plays a big role. And with commitment, you are able to stay loyal to your objective, even though your passion is coming down and there are challenges. Because you are committed, you keep moving, even if the challenges come. And no one gets up there without going through challenges. We've heard several entrepreneurs speak about their journey. It gets to a point where you feel like you should just leave everything, and then why did you even come into this in the first place? But most of you here are young, so your dynamics are not so much. For those who are already working, especially in the formal sector, you have a regular income coming in, and now you want to start your own business. It's a big decision for you to leave your comfortable every 30 days you have something hitting your account. Now you are going into an unknown area where sometimes even your returns could be negative or there will be nothing at all. So commitment plays a big role in starting a business as an entrepreneur. And then the second thing is your name, the name of your business. As human beings, we know that our names have a profound effect on us as people. Some people say your name influences your destiny. The name of your business will also influence the destiny of your business. So in choosing a name, we have to choose a good name. And what constitutes a good business name? What would we regard as a good business name? One, if you are choosing a name, choose a name that can be easily pronounced by people. Because word of mouth works very well. People referring you to other people works very well. And if they cannot pronounce your business name, how then are they going to tell other people about you? So it is very important how we choose our name. And also choose names that are memorable and have good meanings. If you have a business and you name the business Fraud, will someone want to do business with you? Because the name has a negative connotation. Also, we are in a country where people speak different languages. Maybe in one particular language, the name might mean a good thing, but in some other language, the name might mean a negative thing altogether. So in choosing a name, you should also look at your socio-cultural environment, where you are coming from, what languages are being spoken there, and then if you choose a name, what impressions is the name going to send to other people who are living in your community. Also, you would also have to choose a name that will grow with your business. Don't choose a name that limits you. For instance, if you are into food and then you name your business with one particular food, let's say you are into catering and then you started with rice, then maybe you name it Ida's rice something, and then you grew as a business and you started doing other foods as well. So if you maintain the Ida's rice, it has limited your business in a certain way. So normally if you are using a name, you use a name that you can grow with. As your business is expanding, you can still maintain your name. So if you maybe keep a name like Ida's Foods, that includes everything food. And it's more generic and broad, and you can grow with that name. So if you start, have a vision that in future you grow. And if you grow, will this name still be helpful? Wouldn't it be too limiting to you? And there are different ways we can name. One way is to use your name, the founder's name. Is one way of naming a business. And then the other way is to invent a name. People invent names every now and then. Maybe some people use the first two letters of their name, the first two letters of their spouse's name, put it together, and they have a business name. And sometimes you can talk about the type of business you are in. Maybe if you are into catering, you can have maybe your name and add catering to it. And then sometimes there is a naming pattern they call double trouble. Maybe you use the same word twice, you repeat the same word. For instance, if you are in, let's say, baking, you are into maybe baking bread. You can name your business bread. It's a way of naming. And normally this name resonates with people. They don't easily forget such names. And so these are various ways you can name your business. And also make sure that the names you choose can be legally protected in future in case you become bigger. It shouldn't be a word that is common, that everybody uses. With such words, you can't go and protect them. You cannot go and protect them. It cannot be trademarked. But if you have a name that is not very common, then you can protect it legally so that people cannot easily copy your business name and then operate under your name. Maybe you build goodwill with that name over time, and then others can use it freely. So that's another thing you should consider. And another step you need to follow is that you should make sure you register your business, no matter how small it is, and no matter the form of business ownership you choose to use. If it's a sole proprietorship, you can still register it, and it's very cheap to register a sole proprietorship. It becomes complex when it is a limited liability company or a partnership, but with sole proprietorship, they are very easy to register. So if you get your name registered, it comes with a lot of benefits. For instance, if you want to, maybe you are into printing of t-shirts and other things, and then a corporate body wants to do business with you. If you are not registered, these big organizations wouldn't want to do business with you. But once you've gotten your business registered, businesses both in the formal and then informal sector can deal with you. So it's one thing you should bear in mind. Another thing which is very important and is quietly linked to the registration is getting your TIN number, tax identification number. It's also very essential. You need the TIN to be able to register your business. You also will need the TIN to open a business bank account. If you want to operate a separate bank account for your business, you will need this TIN number to operate that. And also, if you want to file your taxes, you also need the TIN. And as good citizens of this country, we are demanding so much from our government and our politicians. And if we start businesses and we start making some money, it is important that we pay our taxes. So getting a TIN number is also very important when you are starting a business. And then the other thing is you should have a good bookkeeping or accounting system in place. Most businesses today, especially businesses in the informal sector, proper records are not being kept. So you don't know whether you are making a profit or you are making a loss. And then people end up playing the blame game if the business is not moving well. Either they attack their employees or blame it on witches and wizards, that they are the cause of their falling down of their business. Meanwhile, the problem might not be spiritual, but it is about you not keeping proper records. And we know that there is a difference between sales and profits. We have accounting students here, right? You can be making a lot of sales, but in actual fact, you are not making profits. Sales does not necessarily mean profits, because you need to deduct all your operating expenses. So if you are not keeping proper records, and because you are making enough sales, and then taking monies out of the business every now and then, thinking that you are making enough sales to cover your expenses, so you should be making profit. Then at the end of the day, you realize that despite all the sales you make, still you've not been able to sustain your business because there is no proper bookkeeping. So we need to have an accounting system in place. If you are small and you can't engage the services of a professional accountant, there are simple things you can do. You can take records of your sales. You can take records of every expense you make, every money you take out of the business. If it's for personal use, there is a name for it, the accountants. How do we call it? If you take money out of your business for personal use, we call it what? Where are the accounting students? Or there are no accounting students here. We call it drawings. So if you make drawings from your business, you should record it. And if you make expenses related to your business, you should also record it. And it will be best if you give yourself an amount as salary for yourself, so that you don't go overboard in your spending from the business. For instance, after running your business for about 1 year, you know the amount of revenue you made from that business. So you can decide that on a monthly basis, I'll pay myself, let's say, 1,000 Ghana cedis. So that's your salary. And then it saves you from spending overboard and taking too much money from your business every now and then. And also, as your business grows, you cannot do it alone. You need to hire the services of other people. People are very important in business. And the type of people you hire and their attitudes can make or make your business. They said the best companies hire the best employees. The second best companies hire the second best employees. And the companies that are failing are hiring bad employees. That's why they are failing. So what makes an organization is the type of people who are working in that organization. So if you are going to hire people to work with you, don't take it lightly. Do background checks on the type of people you hire. Recently, someone posted on social media that she hired someone as a dispatch rider to help her with her business. And the person has run away with her new motorcycle and his phone is off. She has tried locating him and she couldn't find him. So it's important you do background checks on the type of people you work with, their addresses, where they live. And if you know where they live, you can speak to people in their hood and ask about their character. And then, depending on the type of business you are in, you can do criminal checks. You can ask for a police clearance from someone you want to hire. Especially if you are into businesses that has to do with people who are vulnerable, like children. If you have a school, you should be sure that people who you are hiring are not people who have abused children in the past or anything. It is essential. And then you should know where your employees live. In case of any problem, you could go there and then contact them. And they should get people to referee for them, people who can vouch for their character. If a person is coming to work with you and he cannot produce any reference, then it means that there might be something questionable about the person's behavior. So it is important that we look at the type of people we hire, their attitude. And these days, one way you can easily check on people is through the social media. If you have someone's contact, and they also have yours, or even what they post on their WhatsApp status can tell you the type of people they are. The kind of information they spread on Facebook and the kind of pages they follow can tell you something about the type of people they are. So you can use these basic means to check whether the people you are employing are good people or not. And then there is also this very important thing that we always ignore. Small businesses always ignore this. You have to have a confidentiality agreement with your employees. That businesses have secrets. You have your trade secrets. If someone is working with you, they learn your business processes, especially if you are into IT, if you are into, let's say, pharmacy, manufacturing drugs and other things. Your processes and your business secrets are your property. And if an employee is working with you and he comes up with an idea, that idea belongs to you as a business because you hired him and paid for his services. So sign a confidentiality agreement with the people you hire that they are not going to disclose any of your secrets to any third party, even if their job is terminated, even if they stop working with you. And then they are also not going to compete with you when they are still working under you. And then they would also not spread information about your business, your competitors, or work with your competitor when they are still working with you. So sometimes these things protect your business because people can go out with sensitive information and then it can affect you. And then the other thing is, my sister has already spoken much about that, taking advantage of the social internet. The internet offers a lot of opportunities for startups. Advertising is very expensive, but today with the internet, you can advertise almost at a very minimal cost on social media. And if you have enough funds and you can get a website for your business, it is very important. People who might want to invest in your business will go to your website and check what you have there. And then people who are your customers to go to your website. These days, people go online to check about products before buying offline. So you should make sure that you have a strong online presence. These days, those who are born post-1979, we call them the millennials. They sleep and wake up with their smartphones. So their life is almost revolves around the internet. They use the internet for everything. So it is important that you take advantage of this platform. And once you are online, it means that you are already a global business, because people beyond the borders of this country can see what you are doing, and then you will never know where that can get you to. So you can also take advantage of the internet to be able to push your business, increase your visibility, create brand awareness, and then that can get you customers. And then the other thing is your confidence as a business person. It's important. You should believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one is going to believe you. But it is not just confidence. In business, you need to be trustworthy, and you should have integrity. If people can trust you and you have integrity, even if you don't have money, you can do business. In the days where I used to run my business, I started with just a small amount of capital. But with time, suppliers were following me to give me goods without money, and I should pay when I have the money. And sometimes you'll be tempted to take the items, but you also look at how fast you can change the items. So if you have integrity and you are confident and you are trustworthy, you can successfully operate a business, even if you don't have money. So these are some of the things I would like to draw your attention to. But that's not all of it. There are other things. Steps in starting a business are not sacrosanct. That do one, then go to two, go to three, go to four, and then five. No. There are several ways you can go about it, and there are many. We can't discuss all of them in the 30 minutes that I have. So I will pause here, your questions will come in, and then I answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Aida, for that wonderful lead. I hope we are learning. I hope we are learning. Yes. All right. A very few insights. Ms. Aida made mention of the naming of your business. That your business must have a name that is memorable, that people can easily pronounce, that people would easily relate to. And it must also have a positive, meaning. It must be very positive. People should feel a sense of positivity immediately they hear the name of your business. And it must also respect the cultural background of the people living within the location where the business will transpire. She also made mention of important legal issues as far as your business is concerned. And that triggered a question from one of our questions. She also made mention of keeping records. A lot of people are into business, but they don't have reliable accounts, records of whatever they are doing. So at the end of the day, they are making a lot of sales, but no profit at all. She also mentioned website, internet, that people would now, in our time, go online to study more about your product before going ahead to make purchase. So that again is drawing our attention to the fact that we need to be very careful what we put out there online, because we are also products. Before someone will employ you, he would want to go online to see what you are thinking and what you have been doing with your social media or your internet. Alright, we have two questions. The first one, are there any recommended reading materials you want to share with us? And also, how do we get them? That is the first one. And then the last one is, I'm selling just wache and salad. Do I also need to register my business? Just wache and salad too, I should go and register. That's what I want to say. Alright, so.
Okay, thank you. With the books, one book I would want to recommend is The Power of Self-Discipline by Brian Tracy. It's a very good book. And so you can get it online.
Alright.
Yeah.
Power of
Self-discipline.
The Power of Self-Discipline by Brian Tracy.
It's a very good book. I would recommend that to them. And then the other question was?
I'm selling just watch it.
Yes, you know, in business you have to differentiate. You are selling wache and salad. Your wache might taste so good, but because it's always packaged in that white rubber and put in a takeaway rubber, I can't tell the difference between your wache and some other wache. So you can give your wache a name and then change the way you present your wache. One thing that makes businesses successful is your ability to differentiate. Now the market is crowded, so if you look like just anyone, you will not make the needed impact. So change the way you present yourself. You can package it, have a nice cover, and then maybe with your name on it, your registered name on it. It gives you that sense of differentiation. It is important, no matter how small, if you are registered. Maybe a company might want to do business with you, come and prepare wache for their occasion, but you are not registered, so they can't work with you. Some of them need VAT invoices. If you are not registered, you cannot get a VAT invoice and then issue it to your client. So if you want to do it in the big way, you need to be registered. You can start small, but register. It's very important.
All right, do we have any questions? Let's take one question.
Okay.
For the rest, we'll deal with them on Hafiz TV online. Just go to your Facebook handle and look for Hafiz TV. Put all the questions there. We'll get you answers through our speakers. All right, so let's take a question from the brother behind. All right.
Please, in her presentation, she said that the type of people you follow on social media will detect the type of person that follow is. If you are to have a business with that person, okay, if that person is following the slave Ghana, all those sort of stubborn groups, at the same time following the worship groups, Islamic worship group, Christian worship group, and the rest of the worship group, how are you going to know that person? How are you going to present that person in such a situation? Whether the person is a good person or such a person to work with that fellow?
So we don't just follow social media, right? We make comments on social media pages. The type of comments you pass can tell how you think, isn't it? Yes, so the kind of comments you pass, at the end of the day, these things are subjective. There might be two people who will see the same thing. Someone will take it as nothing, but others will take it seriously. So just be careful out there. You think you are hiding under a faceless organization. People don't know who you really are. But what you keep on social media becomes the property of that social media page, and it is there for good. So be careful, just be careful who you follow and the type of comments and the things you share on social media. It can affect you.
All right, so the last question. I think you got that in the ladies have that, so go ahead. All right. Yes, you may. On the okay, self-employment.
If you are employed by somebody, and if you are employed by somebody and you wake up in the morning, how can you become a business?
You are employed by someone. How then can you become a business? Is there any avenues for you to explore the entrepreneurship?
Yes, if you have a business idea, you can still be working under someone and then be running your business alongside. From what you are earning from your business, you can save and then start your own business along the line. I know people who are working professionally as an accountant in big corporate bodies in this country, and they have their consultancies alongside, which they are running as well. So you can work under someone and then still be an entrepreneur.
Let's go. will surely come to an end. By the end, one will differentiate the boys from the men, and of course the girls from the women is the amount of record we have kept as we are sitting. So whatever you are hearing, please make very good use of your pen and paper. If you read the Quran, you hear about Iqra, you hear about the Qalam, you hear about writing and so on, just to tell you how important it is to keep records of whatever you are learning for future reference. Alright, so we are going to take the last speech from a very learned brother, a very inspirational big brother to me, and an inspiration to me. We should have had Mr. Abdul Rahman Baba Seydu. He should have been the one to represent. But unfortunately, he is on a project in the northern region of Ghana. For that matter, he sent an equally competent rep to take his position on the podium. And he will be presenting on sources of funds, sources of funding for start-up businesses. If you are going to start up business or you have a business idea, how do you finance that business idea? What are some of the sources of funding for your startup? The one to do the presentation is the person of our own big brother, Mr. Fuad Abu Bakr. Mr. Fuad Abu Bakr is a product of the University of Cape Coast, where he studied a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Statistics, graduated in 2008. He also bagged another Master of Science in Local Economic Development at the prestigious Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, which is one of our major affiliates over here in Medina Institute of Science and Technology. We are directly affiliated to KN University, so it is KN University that awards your certificates. He is also with the Innovations and Concept Creation Officer. He used to be there at the year 2008. The year 2008. He also has the M&E Research Analyst background. He is with the M&E Research background. He is also a team lead with Shifa Pure Honey Ghana. Those of you who are on social media, you have been hearing about Shifa Pure Honey. That today we have a lot of contaminated honey out there. People want to drink honey because of the Shifa and health it has. But we are very suspicious. We are doubtful what type of honey is presented to us. So he has a pure honey company that is supplying all across the country. So those of you who need honey, right from here, you can get in touch. He's also a cocoa trader. Cocoa, one of Ghana's blessings. And also head of cocoa crop forecasting. They make forecast about the cocoa crop. That is the Cocoa Marketing Company Limited in Ghana. He has been engaged in a series of public advocacies, among some of which includes training trainees, training trainers, and so on. Always up and down, sharing knowledge with the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, with a very big round of applause, kindly help me welcome Brother Fuad Muhammad Abubakar, who will be speaking to us on the topic sources of funding for startup businesses.
Thanks so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We extend gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of life this morning. As there are a lot of people who are disadvantaged than us at this crucial time. So it is our prayer that Allah grant us protective mercies in these pandemic times and beyond. We extend salutation to our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to his household, to companions, and those who followed the path of guidance, the path of righteousness to the day of judgment. Thanks so much for the opportunity. As he said, Brother Baba, Idam Baba, I call him, that's how I call him, was to be the speaker for this topic. Unfortunately, he has been out of Accra, so he prompted me if I can make the time to pass by. I said, why not? And as long as we're going to share our stories,
on how to become better, then I'm always ready to step in. I always start. I'm always fortunate to be either third or last speaker whenever I attend programs, and that makes it very easier for me. Because the speakers before me kind of they set the foundation and makes it easier. The last questioner asked whether by being an employee of a company, how can he become an entrepreneur? So the concept about entrepreneurship, and as the executive director started, he said the focus of this foundation is to use entrepreneurship as a tool for poverty eradication. So it's not about being called an entrepreneur. That's what the fund is. No. You need to be economically empowered. And when my two sisters spoke, and as per the introduction that our brother gave, you could see that, or you could easily deduce that they have multiple streams of income. So that's the key phrase that you need to understand. It's not about you owning a company. That's not the fun. No. You need to have multiple streams of income. You know the company Honda. The person who asked the question was, you know the company Honda. So you heard of the car Honda. Okay. So the guy who invented Honda used to work for Toyota. So he was an employee. In science, they used to tell us Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. That was what we know. But Thomas Edison is basically, if not for this current generation of IT billionaires, like Jeff Bezos and Jack Ma, the IT guys, Thomas Edison is noted as America's greatest entrepreneur. The company that he founded way back in the 1880s is still in existence. General Electric. He was, so the Henry Ford, who is one of America's biggest car manufacturers, was an employee of Thomas Edison. So it just tells you that irrespective of you being an employee, you can also become an employer. I work as a commodity trader with Ghana Cocoa. I believe Cocoa is a bit popular. That notwithstanding, I have Shifa agribusiness. I do honey, I do palm oil, I do poultry, I do a lot of other things. I run a private weather company, Meteo Agro West Africa, that kind of gives out the weather intelligence to farmers and agricultural workers. But I'm still an employee. How do you do that? Everybody has 24 hours in a day. So the question is, how do you manage your 24 hours? What do you use it for? What you use your time for is what will define who you are. So I'm just making this as a base for you to understand the context of entrepreneurship. And often we see entrepreneurship as a second option. So a lot of people will tell you, oh, I graduated from school, it's been 3 years trying to find a job, then I had this idea. So it's like you feel in pain and you want to be, you do be. It doesn't work that way. The dream focus has changed. It used to be that you go to school, you get good grades, you do national service, you find a job. What does the job give you? I make more money from Shifa pure honey than I make from CMC. And Cocoa Marketing Company is one of the most revered jobs in this country. But I make more money selling honey. I chose honey. For you to appreciate that as a trader or as a seller, I can determine how much I earn in a month. As an employee, the board of the government decide how much you earn in a month. So which one do you want? You need to control your destiny. That's why both speakers do mention that, or did mention that, they have multiple streams of income. So please have that mindset that you don't need to complete school to become a business person. Out there in the Western world or developed economies, we call them, kids or young people are made to be ambitious when they are at your age. One of our challenges in this part of the world, especially among us as Muslims, we are less ambitious. I'm telling you, we are less ambitious. So we grew up in Nima, in Medina, in Shukra. You've seen very few people who are rich. The people you think are rich are someone who maybe has become a parliamentarian or a minister, and he's got a V8. These are poor people. Okay, because they depend on rich people. If you see any bad policy ongoing, it's being pushed by a billionaire sitting somewhere, and you don't know who that billionaire is. Yeah. So have that in the back of your mind that I want to become that person who drives the change. And that is much easier when you're a business person or an entrepreneur. And our sister has made mention of several business avenues that you can explore. There are a lot, and we can't mention them. But the point is, you need to be daring. You need to be ambitious. As a young person, you need to have it at the back of your mind that I have a target to make $1 million net worth by age 30. It's doable. I mean, with my Metro Agro West Africa, in the next 3 years, we want to have a business, a gross over annually of $10 million. We are hiring people in French-speaking countries just to sit in Accra and present weather forecasts. My parents didn't go to JHS. So it doesn't matter who your parents are. You just need to understand that there's a global well out there. So if people are making it in other parts of the world, there's no way you cannot make it. Be daring. Setting that pace, then I'll narrow it down to my focus on what I'm expected to speak on. Someone asked the question whether you can start a business without capital. And my sister gave an amazing answer, using your integrity as a leverage. And that is the story of what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you heard the story of Prophet Muhammad and Anna Khadija. I think it's only the loud part that people are most interested in. But he was a fund manager. So because he has a high level of integrity, people in even before he met Nana Khadija, how did he become the fund manager for Nana Khadija? He was a fund manager for a lot of people. So in his early ages, people gave him money to travel at longer distances to go and buy items. He had credibility. Do you have credibility? أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك. أسأل الله. The next point is, and Nadia Kausar mentioned, the first point she mentioned was being innovative. I would say being a thinker. So we often don't know the difference between thinking and worrying. So people, a lot of when they are unemployed, they worry. When there's an issue, they worry. They don't think. When you are thinking, the doors of your mind open up and try to give you solutions on how you can move out of the worry that you are in. But we don't think. Well, most people don't think. They just worry. So when you get too worried, you become depressed in the situation that you find yourself. So you need to be innovative in whatever you do. People, I saw Hafiz TV. Do you have a big office as a TV station? You do. So you are fortunate. You have that. A lot of people don't have that. These days, your phone is sufficient enough to use. Some use it to watch porn. Some use it to follow. You can do it. Young guys as you are doing it in other parts of the world. It doesn't take anything. It takes a commitment to learn. The next point is internal resources. Brother Kish, in launching his first book, it's not a secret because he told me. After opening the book and searching for funds to print out the books, didn't have funds to do that. So his wife suggested to him, why don't we sell our smart TV? I mean, for someone, your wife, if you didn't bring up the suggestion, she might not speak to you for money. Yeah, so he sold his smart TV, printed out the books, bought a new TV, bought land, built a house. And it just goes to the point that you need to understand the law of process. You need to understand that you need to plant a seed. For it to germ, you plant one maize, it comes out as a whole bunch of corn. You need to understand that. So as young people, especially our ladies, our young guys, you want to wear a nice attire. A lady wants to have the same color of a dress and the same color of a bag and a shoe. It costs 300 cedis. It costs 1,000 cedis. People are holding phones and they are jobless. The wealth of the phone is a capital. Understand that straightforward. So sacrifice that present enjoyment, or I don't even call it enjoyment. You're just trying to seek some kind of attention from people. Meanwhile, down in your pockets, our friends from Lebanese and Syrians always say that there's a problem with Ghanaians. So he wears a nice shoe, nice jean, and he changes it almost every day. But in the pocket, he has nothing. So I train with companies in New York and in London, and you see the chief executive of the company. He wears the same suit 3 or 4 times in a week. So since I came back, I'm like, look, I think it's a waste of time. I have more than 2 suits. You understand how simple life is?
Yeah.
You know, you see, it's when you are poor, that you try to dress so high for people to say that this guy is rich in his uniform. A rich man doesn't do that. Because the riches is there. So he knows he's rich. He doesn't need assurance from someone to be told that he's rich. And that's what, as youth, we need to understand. The little you have can be sacrificed to start something. How much does it take to start a blog? Virtually nothing. So start blogs, but before you can have a blog which can attract, because blog is not just a blog. Blog is an avenue where people advertise on and you get money. You know there are blogs that who pay the blog owners, or the bloggers? A lot of them. You don't need to be 15, 16, 17 to be a blogger. You can be blogging before that. So understand that it's not hierarchical where you need to complete school before you start earning. You can be in school and earn. They will argue that they don't have time. They have time for all the useless, unproductive things in the world. They discuss C. Ronaldo and Messi and others. Brother Kish will say, you are watching Messi for him to get paid. Who pays you? Sure. So you need to appreciate some of these things. So internally, what can I dispose of now? Or what can I substitute to become a capital? Because we all do have it in a different form. We all do have it in a different form. What can I sell off to raise revenue for my business? The next one, as a questioner asked, was partnership. Okay, we have there are 2 ladies that I met at the program. Reagan Clothing. Yes, they are sisters, and they did mention at the program, so it's not a secret. And when they completed UG, I mean, their parents were up north, so they were like, okay, what can we start? Do we have to go back there and join the mass team there? No. One of the sisters suggested, no, there's this Hajia who sells bills. Let's go speak to her. And one was, we don't have money. And the sister said, I think I have 75, the other had about 80, so it was around 150 cities. So let's go speak to her because they understood what was mentioned, the power of the internet, the power of social media. Social media is not for you to build social relationships. Social media is for you to use social networks for businesses. So Facebook didn't create it for people to have relationships. No. So what are they selling from you? They are selling your data. So you see, when you watch a video about maybe wrestling, you notice that whenever there's a wrestling video, you find it on your timeline. Yes, because they have scripted all those people who like watching a particular content. And at the very moment the content is available, he knows that it is Brother Idris that needs it, Brother Kish needs it, Brother Mahfouz needs it. So they profiled you. And they are marketing because the more people who watch it, the more the person who created it gets money. And he's getting money and he's also paying Facebook and other platforms. So they use that, they went to this Hajia and told the Hajia, this bill and want to sell, buy something else. And she was like, oh, You can take pictures of it, go and put it on social, so they didn't even use their 150 other stuff. So they took images of those items, put it on social media, people started seeing it. So when you see it, you place a request, they will take it. And you know how business are, people are ready to pay even in advance to pick the product. So there are times that someone will call you, I do sell chocolates to some shops in Kumasi, in Takari. So someone calls me, what chocolates are this class in Kumasi, can you get some? I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm out of Accra. I'm out of Accra, but I can call a delivery guy to go to the chocolate shop. I'll send more to the chocolate shop seller. He picks the item, delivers it to a bus or a cargo car, take the item to Kumasi. Before the item reaches Kumasi, I get my money with my profit. You can make 10, 20, 30% of profit without touching either the product or handing your cash directly to someone. You can only do that when you give your mind the space to think. If you don't, I mean, the poorer you think, the poorer you remain. The richer you think, the richer you become. So understand the form. There's a book by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. I think that's the base book for all self that we started way back in the 80s. So that was the first book for self-help guys. That's Brian Tracy, Robert Kiyosaki, and others. As a man thinketh, so shall he become. So partnership is very, very important. With my company, Metro Agro, we have partners in Switzerland, which is one of the biggest weather forecasting companies in the world, Meteo Group. I didn't have to pay anything. I didn't do meteorology in school. I learned it on the internet. I learned how to analyze weather data in relevance to cocoa, in relevance to. I was telling Dr. Kishma, one of the brothers, as I told the Minister for Agri, Dr. Akutu, somewhere in September, that we're going to have maize crisis. I'm not a Sufi, no. I knew that there was drought in July, August. I knew there was going to be drought in July, August, because that data is available on the internet. So as long as you have drought in August, August is the second planting season for maize from the Bronx up to the northern part of the country. If you don't get rain, you don't plant well. If you don't get rain, you don't fertilize. So you don't need to be a magician, and this expertise are what you sell to make money. But how are you able to do that? You need to dedicate time to learn it. I have a family, my wife, I have 4 kids, so when they are back from school, we sit in the room briefly. When they're going to watch TV, I'm like, I need to read. But don't just read it. So a lot of our young English, they read love stories. So when I just said, be a reader, or one brother I said, be a reader, he didn't mean be a reader of telenovela books. Read books that will change the way we think. That will change the way we view the world. So with partnership, what you have, someone sockets it or someone complements it, you can start something. Maybe the assessment you have done is you need 500 students, you need 200 students. Do I have 100? Maybe I don't have 100 now. Okay, can we have a target of a month or 2? Where I save maybe 5 times. The ones I used to buy credit and watch needless things on my phone. Let me sacrifice that to get the 100 cents. Because I might be able to raise 100 cents in a second. Someone might not. So you need to be able to save towards that. So one person saves, the other person complements it, and you're good to go with your business. There are times it's good to look at family and friends. They could be helpful. But it all depends on what you are ready to do. I will not invest in you if you are not ready to invest in yourself. So don't ever think you have a brilliant idea, you go tell Mr. Kamoni, then you think he'll give you money. No. What have you sacrificed from the internal things you have to start it? So people really invest in businesses that they just to jump the start. People support businesses that are airborne. So you move the business up briefly, then you get the support. So you never think that you have, a lot of people have ideas, but ideas don't create money. You need to take the step before the idea sets in motion. And that's the only way you can get it. So I mentioned I'm using integrity as a leverage. When honey, we do have people. I remember I did tell Brother Fish when I went to. So we sent our honey to Kano in Nigeria. It's a huge market. Yeah, there's almost 3 people in Kano. It's the biggest and most populated. They say Lagos, but no, Kano is the most populated state in Nigeria. We send our honey to Kano. So one of the biggest families that people have become aware of is the Dantata family, I believe. Yes, so that's where that hotel comes from. Someone referred me to the group chief executive, I like how you did that. And when we started talking about honey, we said we are into food business. So how can we invest in the honey business? I don't know him from anywhere. So if the idea has been there in my head that I want to do money, I want to do money, I want to do money, nobody knows exactly what you're doing. But I went there, I have honey at hand. I've gone through the process, it's registered, it's FDA approved. I specifically run tests with Food Research Institute almost every city as a policy, just to assure my customers that I'm having a very good product. The people who trained me, Forest Research Institute, they buy honey from me. So you need to be passionate and committed about whatever is it that you do. You build the credibility of your business, it's a leverage, and it will be a source of income for you to scale up your business. One thing that, or one aspect that we really take advantage of is government startup funds. And those things, you can never access it if you don't register your business among others. So politicians always think they are smart, but we are smartest. So they come to you with a need. They need your vote. Unfortunately, most of the time, our Zongos, we don't have a need. No. Yeah, so we just follow. You get rice, you get cattle, then you vote. But the youth, you are the power. You need to have a need. I don't need 100 to 200 states, no. It's MBSSI, National Board for Small Scale Industries, extending out some support for startups. I want to get some. I want to be registered to do that. And these are available for anybody. Maslov, if it has an interest component, don't go for it. But most of these startups by government are interest-free because it is coming from development agencies. These are countries where interest rates are either negative or zero. So GIZ has a startup program with the government, SNB has it with the government, and these are implemented at the national, regional, and district level. So as a startup, whatever you are doing, try find out at the assembly. Is it Medina Delta? Yes, at the assembly, they do have business advisory units. Find out what kind of support can I access to expand my business. There's a concept that we call franchising. Often it's a bit difficult if you don't understand how it works. But to be honest with you, there are a lot of companies out there who want to have footprint in Ghana. We are fortunate as Ghana. Ghana is one of the most developed countries in West Africa. So in West Africa, you talk about Nigeria, Ghana, then maybe Cote d'Ivoire. So whoever has a business in Europe, because in Europe, USA, these markets are kind of saturated. I don't know when we say saturated, you understand what it means. These are markets that kind of have speed. So they are looking at other areas where they can expand. And they want presence in Ghana. Because Ghana can be the gateway to other countries like Sierra Leone, like Liberia, like Senegal, like Gambia and others. The question you ask yourself is, how am I positioned to take advantage of some of these businesses? Often, we are not. It goes back to the first point that I made about our low level of ambition. If you are in Ghana, you're running a business, and you think you're having challenges. The social media that you use, network with people in other countries. There's no Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, except that there were some white men who sat in Europe and created boundaries. Unless land is vast. So never allow boundaries to be a restriction to your business. We got a partner for Metro Agro who said, no, we want you guys to just concentrate on Ghana. I'm like, If that's what you are bringing on board as equity, then we don't do that. We are clear in our mind that we know West Africa has Anglophone and Francophone, but we are going straight with a project that targets the whole of West Africa. There's Alliance Française, we can hire people locally to do the work. So you need to understand that there's a big world out there, and that is all influenced by your level of ambition. If you want to stay in Medina and just be a local champ, you'll be a local champ. But that's not what you need to. As Muslims, it is mandatory to become rich, or it's an obligation to become rich. Understand that. I'm telling you. So this facility that we are in is built by who? A Muslim. Assuming this place was turned into a gambling playground, maybe a horse race course, where people come there, horse racing, polo, and gambling is taking place. Is it good for the society? So we have most of our youth becoming gamblers. That's why in our Nima and Mamobi, we see typical Zongo house being rented out to a non-Muslim for it to use as a betting center. It hurts. And he will only give it out because there's some other Muslim who is ready to pay that money. So it's an obligation for us as Muslims to be rich. Allah tells in the story of Qarun, he says, so you have a portion in the enjoyment of this world. You can only do that when you are wealthy. So please aspire for greatness. Be dedicated to learning. Reconscientize your mind that you don't need to complete school and go searching for jobs. Create a job when you are in school. So I find it a bit funny, people at the universities especially, Lagos has almost about 40 or 50,000 people on campus, and you are not selling, there's something wrong with you. These are a homogeneous group of people that you can sell anything to. Some make mistakes for the 4 years that you be on campus. If you have missed, what are you selling? Is it a product or a service? Sell something. Make mistakes, grow it, make other mistakes, and keep growing. And keep growing. So that's my words of sharing to us as colleagues here. Please be daring. The more daring you are, the more you appreciate the fact that you need to put in a lot to achieve more. And someone says you can be rich by becoming cheap because you want to live in a single room. You don't want to eat well. You don't want to dress nicely, have a car. So you don't need much to buy a bicycle. Do you need much? Yeah, so your standards are very low. So whenever you earn, if you earn 1,000 cedis a month and you buy a bike, maybe 200 cedis, you rent. There are areas that someone said you went up north, and they said rent is, I think 7 cedis, and you rented for 14 years. Yeah, fun, but that was just a joke. But the point is that you can be rich by having a low standard. So you decide to live in a small place where you pay 20 cedis a month. That's okay, but that's not what you need as Muslims. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is an inspiration. You might have heard that he struggled sometime, but the Prophet Muhammad was a wealthy man. Islam got to us by wealthy people because they were ambitious traders. So let's be part of that team and make this beautiful religion an inspiration for a lot of people. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you so very much. We are almost at the end of this presentation. Mr. Fuad Mohammed Abubakar, thank you so very much for those wonderful insights and sharing with us. May Allah bless you immensely. Mr. Fuad spoke about time management. Let us put that on record. Time management, the value of our time. We all have 24 hours in a day, but what makes mine or yours more productive? What do we do with our leisure times? Do we use our leisure time to just be on Facebook, doing nothing and investing in nothing? Or we use our leisure time, part of our leisure time, to study the Quran, how to read and understand the Quran? We do that. Those are some of the things we should be considering. We should also be using our leisure time to study new languages. Today we have a colleague here in MISD who just at level 200, he started earning 1,500 Ghana cedis every month just because he understands Arabic language. We attended a conference, he met some Arabian investors, he just got in touch with them, they told him we need someone who will be translating for us so that we employ him on part-time basis. They took his school fees, they paid for his fees, they gave him a place to live, and they pay him every month just because he dedicated part of his leisure time to study an additional language. What are you doing with your leisure time? We're also looking at certain important skills like Microsoft skills. You need to use your leisure time very, very wisely and so on, and attending of seminars of this sort. Mr. Fuad also made mention of the fact that many rich guys in the West are youth. So why is the case different here in Ghana? We need to make good use of our potentials. And he also mentioned that we worry more than we think. Instead of asking ourselves, how do I solve this problem? I am saying I'm in trouble, and I'm throwing all my hands to the sky. That there is no hope. There is always hope if and only if you will ask yourself, what are the possible ways? What are those solutions I'm looking for? Ask people, consult the experts. That is why we brought all these people here, so that we make good use of their knowledge. But Mother used to say that you never know how strong you are until when being strong is the only option you have. That is when you know that there is some strength hidden in you. There was some serious calamity coming. A man was pushing his friend on a wheelchair. When the one on the wheelchair saw the calamity and how big it is, he got out from the wheelchair and ran away and left the one pushing him. He never knew how strong he was until when the option is only being strong. We also talk about integrity as leverage. You have to develop your integrity. You need to be truthful. People should see you to be reliable so they can deal with you. We also talk about partnership. You may have the idea, but you don't have the money. When you have the idea, you also have the integrity. People will be willing to invest into whatever idea you are having over there. We also talk about starting small. Now we need to start everything small. Start with what you have, where you are. And as time goes on, you begin to make difference. People will now develop their confidence in you. And that is when this funding and stuff would come to you. Alright, I believe that will be enough for a few insights. Now we have some two important questions. And of course, the first one has to do with the reading material. That's not a question, but some people are asking if there are some reading materials Sheikh could recommend for us. And now, the first question actually is that are there any Muslim entrepreneurship startup fund in Ghana? Do we have any Islamic entrepreneurship startup fund in Ghana? And how do we assess it? That is question number one. And then the last question, what advice do you have for those who want to assess the interest-based loans to fund their business, given their Islamic background? Are there any better alternatives? If not, then what ruling are you going to share with us? Or what advice would you want to share with us based on your experience? Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you. I believe a lot of books have been mentioned. I also mentioned James Allen's book, Asamantic. I read quite a lot. Book by John Maxwell, Laws of Growth. I mean, there are a lot of books, and Robert Kiyosaki has a whole package of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, quite a lot. I shared one book, Cash Flow Quadrant, with one of my colleagues, and I mean, since then he has someone to buy the whole set of books. So there's a book, Cash Flow Quadrant. It just tells you where you are. Someone is an employee, someone is an employer, someone is an entrepreneur, and someone is a business owner. One thing that maybe we did mention, and a very brilliant example I think from my sister is how she makes revenue from the mentorship program that she has. So the intention is clear to empower others, but through that she's built a business system. We call it business systems. So if you don't have a network of business, you cannot have only one business standing at one location and expect to be wealthy. No. It needs to become a network of businesses with Shifa We have almost about 75 locations now in Ghana. There are times you don't even know the person. When someone calls you, I got your honey in Tamale, but I'm based in Takrani. So can you please send some? Sometimes the person is a Muslim, I don't even ask of money. I'm like, give me the location, I'll send it. Because my supplier can send me honey without taking money. And 99% when you trust people, you get results. There's also a book by Stephen R. Covey, The Speed of Trust, which I really like. So there are a lot of books that you can read. I read a lot, and I'm a reading fan. Then he asked whether there are Muslim startup funds. Locally, I don't know of any, but I wouldn't discount its existence. But one thing I can say is that as you develop your idea, please find mentors, or mentors we call them. Yeah, whatever business is it that you want to do, there are a lot of people who are doing it. You can find mentors locally, or you can find mentors across the globe. I can go to LinkedIn, I want to do something on weather, identify a few companies into weather, pick their email and write and emails the chief executive of a global company. I don't know the person, we call it creative companies. So the very moment they've noticed that a black guy sitting in Ghana has been able to write such an email to you, think it's sufficient enough for you to get that support. But locally we have wonderful people. I often speak to Mr. Alassane Daniel of Stanbic Bank and a lot of other people. So if I need any guidance, I can easily go to him. So identify people that you can speak to. But anytime there are entrepreneurship or seminars ongoing within our Muslim communities and even non-Muslim communities, please make time and attend. Some could be an opportunity for you to identify as a source of funding. I wouldn't advise interest-based loans. I don't know if the question was interest-based loans or non-interest-based loans. Yeah, so interest-based loans, as a Muslim, is a totally no-go area. And even for a non-Muslim, I will advise you from financial management point of view that if you're going for a business or a loan, which is 25%, maybe they say, oh, market rate is 25%, they tell you 20%, you think it's low. You just think about interest. What it means is that the business that you're going to do, you need to do the business, make returns, which is more than 20%. That's what it means. Because your business has to survive for you to make additional money to be able to repay the loan and have additional money to pay for your expertise and time. Often we don't do that. So we underestimate our costs and overestimate our revenue. But as a Muslim, I will advise you, when Allah says it is haram, when Allah says He has prohibited it, just go away from it. We're coming out mentioning, we had a call from a company, a new group, I think they do an alcoholic drink. Yeah. And they mentioned to us that they want us to supply them with 40 gallons of honey a month. That's almost about 30,000 cents. And I asked them, what did they do? They said alcoholic drink. I said, I can't supply it. Yes, I can't supply it. And I think that's the biggest customer request I've had. But I believe in the fact that Allah says, if you rely on Him, He will live with you. So I think let this thing go. Something bigger might happen. So if Allah tells you riba is haram, going for interest-based loan is haram, and I think that's the only act that Allah said have declared a war against a person. It is only on people who go for interest-based loans. So please avoid it and explore all internal means that you can raise revenue. If you come to me and your business idea is good, I can be a partner. I'll not dash you the money. I can be a partner. And I think a lot of our sisters and brothers can do that as well. I think that was just it.
Thank you so very much. We can do better. All right. I will take only 2 questions, and then we zoom into the final part of the program, which will of course be the awards ceremony. Alright, so if there are any questions for Mr. Fuad, Mohammed, Abu Bakr, let us take those questions. If there are no questions, then I'll move on. Can I move on? Alright, I have a question from Mohammed. Mohammed Isa, can you mature your voice? Or you will need this? You are a man. Man up.
Our senior was just saying we shouldn't go for interest-based loans. How about this borrowing airtime credit? Can we go in for that one as well? It's also part of the interest-based loans that we shouldn't go in for.
Question which is very technical. So we are looking at a mobile money system. So you have the mobile money aspect where people go for loans as an interest. So in that case, what are you borrowing? The first example, what are you borrowing? The example of people borrow money from MTN mobile money. Is that it? And we pay with interest. That's a loan. That's how. Yes. If you're borrowing money, it's e-cash that you're borrowing. And you see a lot of, first of all, I'm going to tell you this. A lot of people, when you're going to send someone goes from school. Oh, now it's like you send people, it's like, you just send it to my number. It's so pathetic. Yes, so they borrow with the intention not to pay. And there's a beautiful hadith to that. And now we'll be angry with you. So someone who borrows, you have a clear intention that you are not going to pay. But the technical bit is you are borrowing airtime to pay later. Is that it? Yes. So I mentioned that it's technical because it's a bit similar to hire purchase. So for the things that are made permissible are more than things that are made impermissible. So I would be wrong to just say that borrowing airtime is not e-cash. So, as a Muslim, you can go buy a phone which is selling for 1,000 cedis today, but you go buy it 1,200 cedis for payment within a period of 1 year. That is allowed in Islam. So, what I would advise you, please find a scholar who understands these things very well. So, I would dare not say borrowing airtime and paying is haram, but I can confidently say borrowing MTN Momo or any other Momo, that's e-cash. So it's money that you are borrowing and paying an interest upon it is haram.
Let's give a round of applause. Alright, thank you so very, very much. We have seen on the flyer Mr. Mohammed Idris Nabali. Many of us here know him. He is the marketing officer for Medina Institute of Science and Technology. He's supposed to chair this event, but fortunately, not unfortunately, he has traveled on a very important trip. And alhamdulillah, he gave us an equally competent, able person to replace him. That is the chairman we introduced earlier. The job of the chairman is to chair the event, to observe the various protocols and the various laws that have been shared, so that whatever insight he also has, he would do it for us. He would make reviews, make certain corrections, make certain recommendations while we wrap up today's event. So we'll give our chairman some few minutes for him to take us through some important insights. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I think we are already far behind time and everybody is so tired. And when you are having a program and it's taking too much longer, people lose interest. So I'll be very brief in my summary on the presentations that we have had so far. Like I told you, I came here with my pen and paper. In fact, my diary to be specific, and I've taken a lot of notes. Sometimes you think you know until you meet other people and they speak, then you realize that you do not know anything. I've learned a lot, as you have heard from the beginning. I myself am also into entrepreneurial ventures, but the kind of information that I have this afternoon, if I had had them before venturing into my businesses, I believe I would have gone farther than where I am today. When I was told to come and chair this program, I had a lot of assignments on my hand, so I was reluctant. But I just realized that it was the price that is worth it. I've learned a lot, and it's so important. Few things. Clearly, there has been a debate as to whether, entrepreneurship is by birth or anybody can be an entrepreneur. I am not here to declare, but from what we have learned from the speakers, I do believe that any other person can become an entrepreneur because the guidelines are very clear. Commitment, confidence, integrity, being ambitious. Somebody, you should just not be complacent with what you have. And you should be a thinker, and I like that part. In Ghana or in Africa, mostly, we don't think. We just feel that once we have, it's already enough. Once you can get your 3 daily spare meal, that is fine. But sometimes it's not about you. As indicated by the executive director of this foundation, the whole idea of this program is to break the poverty circle. So you may be able to feed yourself, but we all know that in our Muslim community, we have a lot of people that are extremely poor. So the idea is about how you can break that chain, that circle that is going on. And all the speakers share a common thing. It's just about how they present it. But one thing that actually struck me is how our last speaker is being able to blend religion with whatever he's saying. And sometimes we easily forget about our background, which is the religion, Islam. And if you are actually to follow the teachings of Islam, you will see that most of the scholars were, again, entrepreneurs, and they were business people. Because you need to have your own source of income. And one day I went to, I think, Birmingham to pray, and the Imam was giving the story of David. And I was marveled that I've never heard that part of the story about David. That David was somebody who would never eat anything that he did not eat. But David, remember, was a king. So the finances of the country was under his control. But he only eats when he has earned that particular thing. So it means that earning is very important. So, and one way of earning is through what? Entrepreneurship. The last thing I will say is that whatever business that you want to do, my brother and sister, you must be religious, you must be prayerful. There's one thing to have an opportunity, and another thing is to actually grab that opportunity. Otherwise, you can sit down and take very beautiful opportunities, but you'll get out there and you will find out that you will not be able to realize that particular opportunity. And I'm happy to see really young people in this room. As one of the speakers indicated, that if she was, she had that opportunity earlier, maybe things would have been much better. So seize it. Don't just come here and listen and throw the knowledge or information that you have away. When you go out there, if a senior high school person, even then, you can still do business. You can sell credit, you can sell some bread, or whatever. You can make money. The idea is to get a problem solved. I believe the first speaker spoke about that. Get a problem solved. Identify the problem. In an attempt to solve that problem, you are making money out of it. But don't go about cheating people. or doing businesses that are not what legal and acceptable from Islam. So we will thank all the speakers for the knowledge shared, because it's not easy to have experiences and share them. We have learned so much, and I believe and trust that at the end of the day, we will all benefit from this program. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman. So, my Hausa ancestors would say, live in the area. One of the crimes of joy is the fact that it ends. Alright, so this will bring us to the end of our program today, inshallah. But it reminds me of the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, where he said, "Man la yashkuru nasa, la yashkuru Allah." That he who does not show gratitude to mankind, equally does not show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our esteemed guests, and of course our high table, they have a lot of schedules to deal with today. And sacrifice a whole lot just because they want to touch our lives. Let us do that very sounding round of applause. Alright, quickly. We have some citations to present to our speakers, inshallah. So I will invite my beloved honorable brother to present this citation to Al-Hajj Yusuf Baba Suleiman, the chairman of this event. On the citation we hereby confer this citation in honor of Al-Hajj Yusuf Baba Suleiman for your commitment and unflinching support for the Life Empowerment Foundation's Main Entrepreneurship Seminar 2021. Our kindest regards. As they walk to the stage, let us give it to them. Our photographers will do us the honor. Alright, thank you very much, Mr. Mahfouz. Now the second citation is going to be delivered to our guest speaker, Ms. Kausar Abdullahi. And it will be presented by the African Youth Commandant, one of the finest motivational speakers we have in the whole world. Let us give it out to him. If you listen to him, you feel you are living in another planet altogether. Alright, so it has the same content. Our photographers will go at the honor. Let us be clapping. Now, to my own mentor, the one to present himself is coming. So, a very quick technical one. Whenever we are presenting the citations, let us stand a bit behind the panel so that everything will be captured. Alright? Alright. So, this one is going to my mentor, my teacher, my best friend, my sister, my everything, Miss Aidatu Abubakar. And the one to present this is our brother, Brother Bukai Haruna. Adam, stop disturbing him. Brother Gash, it's your turn. That is passion. He's so passionate about the photography, so. That landscape of portrait. All right. Thank you so very much. I think we can It's not easy. Look at the program we organized and the series of programs we organized. She is the influence behind it. Let us give it all to the person. I take what belongs to my brother, right? Maybe I'll hand it over to him. Alright, so this one goes to Mr. Baba Seidu Abdurrahman, popularly known as Dimitri Medvedev. He is an international relations expert, a philanthropist, and is also an entrepreneur owning a stable group of companies. He is ably represented by our brother, our late brother, who has shared a lot of insight with us, Brother Fuad Muhammad Abu Bakr. We are inviting our brother Abdul Muhammad Harun, the Executive Director of the Life Empowerment Foundation, to show us honor. All right, thank you so very much. Now we have the last one. And it goes to my boss over here in Medina Institute of Science and Technology. He is Mr. Mohammed Idris Nabali. He is the marketing officer, and I happen to do my national service here, and I work with him as his personal assistant. He is Mohammed Idris Nabali, and I am Mohammed Idris Madugu. And he said, in his absence, I should take this citation on his behalf. And here at the case, I'm the one holding the mic moderating. So how is this going to be done? Now, who is presenting and who is receiving? I'll invite my brother again to do us the honor, Brother Mahfouz, whilst I take my boss's citation. Thank you so very much. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We are most grateful to Allah Azza wa Jal for bringing us together. I would appeal to our esteemed guests on the high table that the Life Empowerment Foundation is still a baby NGO. And these are some of the works we have started. We need your support in many different ways. We need your support in cash, in kind, in ideas, in connections, network, and any other way we believe would be very beneficial to our mission, inshallah. Now we will take the closing remarks from our brother. Is Muhammad Isa here? If Muhammad Isa is not here, I don't know if I can have Abdullah Bashir Amati. Abdullah Bashir Amati is also out. Then I will invite Adam Ibrahim to give us the vote of thanks whilst we draw the curtains of today's event. And please, after this, we will be having a photo shoot outside in front of the auditorium. So we want you to do us the honor. Some are even suggesting we do it right here, whichever you choose. I think this place will be better for the photo shoot. So we'll have a photo with our speakers, inshallah ta'ala. If we have Muhammad Adam here to give us the vote of thanks. Adam is also, what is happening in the house? Well, a lot of you would have wanted to hear from the African Youth Commandant. He cannot attend an event without being listened to. That would be a serious breach of norms and values. For that matter, I would give him the honor to spend at least 3 minutes to ginger us a little and then draw the curtains with the vote of thanks on behalf of the Life Empowerment Foundation. Brother Kishki, we are going to be really grateful to do us this house.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I was trying my possible best to make sure that I won't handle a microphone. But I hope we speak Hausa. Yes. We speak P. Yes. No. Okay.
For the benefit of the international community.
Okay.
Let's use the standard.
Yeah. But there are some times when you want to give some cake, when you make it in a local cake, it enters very well. You get it? When I go to these kind of programs, I become so sad because you don't see the zeal in the people, in the audience. You see, when you look at our brand, you can see some kind of timid. You see our lady sitting one. You don't see that, no, I want to do something with my life. You don't see it. And that's what Brother Ford was saying. You must have a drive. You must have a reason why you are living. And I see that in our communities, in our schools. Brothers, don't get angry. When we went to the place to eat, I saw some brothers eating. And I do a lot of observation. You can see that there is no drive, there is nothing holding them. Look, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is your life, it is your choice. Let me tell you something, you can decide to enjoy the goodies of life. It's just a simple decision. It doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter the name of your father. It doesn't matter the community you come from. The simple decision that you make on your life and decide that, hey, come on, I need to be first. Life will give it to you. All these people don't come from the best name you listen to this country. But if you decide that you need to write a new story about your life, me, and also Zamaraki, I don't know. Why should we write? Why? Why? We are here to escort people. What kind of life is that? No, that kind of life we are living. Look, you can become great. Greatness is within you. It's a gift, that divinity gift. Your power you have is more than a certificate. Let me tell you, your destiny will not be determined by school results. In as much as we encourage people to go to school, but I want to tell you your destiny. It's not about your BEC, your WASI, your whatever. It's the decision that you make. This is a son of a grounded pay seller. My dad cannot spell his name. My mom cannot. I have 3 books to my credit. I decided what I want to become. Don't come to the campus and just be roaming like that. So hollow. You even walk, there's no V in your walking. Oh yeah! You know, that kind of life we learn in senior high school. I was telling somebody, brother, well, like there are certain information, if we got them when we were in senior high school, we would have shaped the world. There's nothing special about Elon Musk. I'm telling you. There is nothing, I can say it on that CNN, give me time. There is nothing special about Elon Musk. We have Elon Musk just working in so good. Even better those who can think better than them. But the thing is that we are so comfortable. We are living a TV life. We are living the shutter movement. We are living the big nation. Look at you. You know shutter than your own life. Are you not disgraced about your life? Why do you live that kind of life? Why would you bet on Chelsea and you can't bet on your life? Oh no, reason with me, bro. Why would you bet on somebody's leg and you can't bet on your destiny? Look, let me tell you, you can decide. The power is in your hand. I'm telling you. Look, don't take life as a joke. Don't joke with it. You are in senior high school, they are telling you you can invest. Some of you are just sitting down. Normally. Now you burn out the right one. When I get back home, I need to do something with my life. And 10, 15 years to come, when they talk about the shakers and the makers of the world, of this country, they will not be saying Nana Kufado. They will not be saying John Mahama. They will be mentioning your names. Why, brothers and sisters? And because of, you see, when you have a larger vision of yourself, you are not comfortable in our community. When I want to talk about my dreams, sometimes I look at the people, they don't think the way you are thinking. So when you tell them I want to be one of the best motivational speakers in the world, in next 10 years I want to visit West African countries and I'm working so hard. What are you doing with yourself? Some of you could start writing books. Some of you could start writing poems, performing them. You are there spending your time listening to people who even insult you and you dance. There was a grand music that came, I didn't know the meaning. Kalu. I thought it was something positive the guy was talking about. And I met a guy and I said, hey, what are they saying? They said, don't be fooled, don't be fooled. And you are fooling. Oh, look, it pains me. I don't know. The kind of feeling I have when I see people, it pains me. You are in a Miami, but I'm doing that. Hey, have a dream. You look at this compound, we come here and say, whoa, I want to own a center called the Fata Center. It will be bigger than this. Don't look down upon yourself. And we are in an era of technology. You decide what you become. It is in your palm. If you have a phone and internet in your hand, you have a right to decide the destiny of your life. But if you give your life to telenovela, because we are in a country nobody cares. In the next 15 years, our women are becoming Indians. Our men will become Hare Krishna. All of us will now go into the Indians and be worshipping their gods. That is what is going to happen in this country. Write it down. Nobody cares about your destiny. Have you ever heard the TV is talking about your success? So please, it is your life, it is your choice. Decide. Look, it's going to be hard. All this thing I'm saying doesn't mean that it's going to be cool, man. There are moments, there's something I should. I'll tell you. Living my dream. There are moments, something to talk. There is a day I'm going to be my wife. We'll have only 2 tom-toms in our fridge. And I've decided that this is what I want to do. People tell me, don't stop this. Go and get some job. I say, hey, this is my destiny. Nobody is going to take me out. And for good 16 years, we are in it. And these brothers will tell us that if you say you will stop doing it, he's forcing me to talk because he sees the impact I've made in his life. And he's an elder brother. So he said, brother, you talk. So please, I want you, when we get back home, pick a paper, don't sleep, and write your destiny. You have the power in you. And write anything, don't be afraid. Write anything. Do you know why? You are the vicegerent of God on earth. You have a power to decide. Thank you very much.
That is the African youth commandant. Whenever he speaks, what do I say? Mountains shake, right? Your passion begins to be stirred up. We can all get there. We can all make it like our esteemed high table guests have made it, and even more. They will not be happy with you and I if we have not been able to pass where they are at the moment. Because why? We've had more opportunities than they do. Perhaps in their times, technology was just beginning. But in our time, we have it in a very sophisticated manner. Let us make very good use of it. Alright, on behalf of the Life Empowerment Foundation, I would like to thank our esteemed guests and our audience and all our supporters and donors for being with us from the beginning of today's journey up to its wonderful end. We hope and pray that the Life Empowerment Foundation and all its supporters will continue to be the messiahs that will help us acquire the desire we admire. So even if in the process there is a misfire, we believe we'll keep lifting higher. Thank you so very much. Now it's time for the photo shoot, and then that means there is some item 13 for our students out there. So we take the photos immediately. Abdul Mohammed, please help us.